afternoon, everyone. If anyone is out there, it's welcome to the player, the coach, the person. I'm Chris Brown from Issues Football. We've developed this webinar series to look at the careers of players and coaches to understand what they thought of their achievements themselves, and also what they're looking to achieve in the game if they're still in it. Without any further ado, I will go straight to Mr. Seth Johnson in Dawlish, Devon. How are we?
Very well, thank you. How are you? Hello, everyone.
Good.
Hello, Mum.
We've got a few years more than your mum here at the minute. We've got 64 participants, which is nice. Yeah, I'm not going to. I'm not going to talk about anything boring straight away and how the lockdown is. I'll just go straight into it because we've got a lot to cover during this next hour. And you've got your red wine in hand, ready to go. So I just wanted to first of all start off with your career. I mean, I've known you since I think we were about 14 years of age. You were a year older than me at Crewe. Met you when I first came to Crewe at Dario's house, and it was had a good friendship since then. So just going back all those years, when you started out at Crewe and how you actually ended up going to Crewe.
Well, it's from being down in Devon, Dawlish, just playing local football for Dawlish Generals. We had a scheduled game against Crewe. Dario used to bring the first team down to like on pre-season tours around Devon and Cornwall and stuff, and play the local teams. And they used to always play Dawlish, but you brought down, it must have been probably an under 12s or under 11 side down to play our local team. But the game got called off for some reason. But a few of the boys didn't know, and so we turned up ready for the game. But it had been called off, and the Crewe lads were there training. So I think there was 4 or 5 of us. We just joined in with the Crewe lads. They let us join in with the training, and that just went from there, really. Then Dario spoke to me afterwards and stuff, and that was pretty much how it started.
So how old was you then?
I was about 11, I think. 11, 12.
Yeah.
11, I think.
And then to what you started to go up to Crewe in the holidays? Yeah.
So I'll go up in the holidays initially, and then I was going up pretty much every weekend. I'll go on the train or travel up with another lad called James Dungy he used to travel up from Plymouth, who used to play for England schoolboys and stuff. So I used to travel up with his dad used to drive us up, playing the game. Well, go up on a Saturday, watch the Crewe first team sometimes, play a game on a Sunday, and then just obviously come back Sunday night and then back to school on the Monday. So
how long did that take from Dawlish? It's some way, isn't it?
4-hour journey, 4 hours on the train, about 4 hours. So,
and then some distance, and then you eventually. I mean, you weren't at any other club at that point, were you? Any professional club? No. Just playing.
No, it was only. I never had any. I didn't even. I played for South. Sorry, South. I played for South Devon. Didn't get in the Devon team when I was about 12 or 13. When I was still living down there. I'd trialled for South West England, didn't get in. And then it wasn't till I was 13 and played in a cup final on Exeter City's great pitch, where Alan Ball was a manager of Exeter, and that's the only club that tried to sign me. But
yeah,
it was too late by then. I was already in a Crewe for a few years. So no, I was no one. I think it's different. It was different back then in terms of scouting and stuff like that. There wasn't really much going on down in the southwest. Yeah,
and you moved up to Crewe though. You moved in with Morsey, didn't you?
Yeah.
Peter Morse.
Yeah, left home at 14. My mum said to Dario, joking really, that I was up there that often. I might as well move up there when I was 14. And then Dario was like, I thought it was a great idea because even though I was going up in the holidays and going up on weekends, I was still missing out on all the training. So, and I was keen to do it. My mum obviously didn't want me to go, but she left it in my hands with, the decision I had to make if I wanted to be a professional footballer, basically. Because at that point, even though I was decent physically, I was still behind the other lads technically. So it was vital that I got the extra training.
And when you first went up there, I mean, what was the standard like? In comparison, was it you had players there that Peter Smith that went to Lilleshall and played in the first team. But how was it to adapting at that age?
Yeah, it was difficult, but I was all right because I could run around, so I was quite quick and things like that. So I was a decent athlete, but the standard was, far superior to anything I'd ever come across. Even with the trials and that I'd been to down in Devon, the standard was so far higher. And then the playing Man United, Sheffield Wednesday, I remember used to always have a good team around our age. Villa, Liverpool, Everton. Where Crewe is, you're basically away from everywhere. Manchester's an hour away, Birmingham's an hour away, Liverpool's an hour away. So, there's plenty of good sides and plenty of good players around.
And when you were going up in the holidays originally, and then you had players obviously like Danny Murphy and Dele Adebola, and who were the types of players? Neil Lennon, I suppose. Who were the players at that point that really, kind of influenced you or helped you, I suppose?
Well, none of them really. Murph a little bit, but he was a couple of years older than me. Like Neil Lennon had gone. I was sort of like, I think I'd have been the first year YTS maybe when Neil Lennon was there, and then he left. Robbie Savage was around. I think he left the season. I broke in the first team when I was like 17.
Yeah.
Played a couple of games, and then Dario pulled me out and just hammered me basically about the way I played and stuff. So he left me out. He left me out of the squad till I was about 18. And then by then, like, I played towards the end of that last season. Then we got promoted, and then a few of the players left. Then so Danny Murphy left, Savage left, Neil Lennon, players like that had already gone.
Yeah.
So we had people like Ashley Westwood, not the Burnley player, the centre half who was signed for Man U. He was there. Dealey was still there. Gareth Wally.
That was so 97. Obviously, the playoff final. You came on, didn't you, at Wembley?
Yeah.
And then that
came
was,
on.
Yeah.
Came on for. I think I come on for Murph actually. Yeah, because I played in the semi-final. I come on at right back in the semi-final against Luton in the second leg because Leonsworth got injured, so he was touch and go for the final. He was fit, and then Murph was struggling up until the final, and I didn't think he'd play more than an hour, but he ended up playing about 85 minutes, and I come on for the last 5 minutes, and obviously we won that game 1-0. So that was obviously, pretty special to be playing at Wembley, and I just turned 18.
Yeah. I remember it was a good day, that.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at a few of the people who have already registered on the chat. There's a few ex-players in there. Gareth Liddell, that Gaz is on.
Is he? Is he classed as an ex-player?
Well, yeah. Well, he was on the bench about 77 times when he never got on.
Yeah.
James Marrow, Lee Hendry's on.
Is he?
Yeah, Mickey Gray has tried to WhatsApp call me, but just obviously then, like, going from Crewe and then signing for Derby, there's a great story about that. Obviously, if you as a Crewe fan, is that you had the chance, didn't you, to go to Liverpool?
No, I had the chance. First of all, I had the chance to go to Derby. First of all, it was transfer window was different then. It was like March time. Now it's like January, isn't it? It was like March, so getting towards the end of the season. We had probably about 6 weeks left of the season, and Derby come in on transfer deadline day, made a bid that Crewe accepted, and Dario come. I was away with the under-21s in Bournemouth. Henders would have been in that squad. You actually come to the game, I think, to watch it. We played against Poland.
Yeah.
Southampton. So Dario come down to the hotel and said we accepted the bid. You're free to go and speak and do what you want, basically. And I was like, well, do I have to go? And he just said, we don't have to go, but we do need to sell you, if not now, at the end of the season. I said, well, I'd rather just wait till the end of the season and then see the season through, because we were like rooted at the bottom. I think we were about 9 points adrift at the bottom of safety in league of the Championship. Yeah, I don't know what the league it was then, what it was called. It might have been just League One or something, Division 1. So yeah, I stayed to the end of the season, and we stayed up, so it worked out worked out pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you don't hear it that much anymore, do you? That a player's going to, stay just in case he gets injured and stuff when he knows that obviously is a decent contract on the table. I mean, realistically, going down obviously was a Crewe fan, and I'm sure you'll live long in the folklore for that, and also paying for the stand that was built. But I mean, when you did sign for Derby with Jim Smith, what was it like first of all, going there?
Well, Dario actually took me. I didn't even pass my test by then. I was 20 and I hadn't passed my driving test. It was only when I signed for Derby at the end of the season that I got my test passed, and then I didn't even have a car for a few months. But yeah, Jim Smith was. I just liked him instantly. There's something about him. He's just got like a really infectious personality. People just loved him, just take to him straight away, and he was great with me. Even though I didn't agree to sign straight away. Dario took me down there. I went in and spoke to Jim. He spoke about the contract and what he wanted from me, and said I was a big part of his plans. And I just asked for a bit of time to sort of get my head around it because the season had literally just finished. And Dario said about Liverpool, so I went up to Liverpool, spoke to Juliet. Got the train up with my agent, and I didn't really have any intention of signing for Liverpool because of the stuff we've done. What had done happened with Danny Murphy. So he went. Was that Mickey Gray just put a message on there?
Yeah, I just see that Mickey Gray.
What did he say?
I said, "You're my favourite person in the whole world."
He's not lying either. So I went and spoke to Juliet. And I didn't have any intention because Danny Murphy come back on loan to Crewe that season. He wasn't really getting a look in at Liverpool. So I just thought I was going to go there and, not play. And I sort of doubted myself, really, thinking I wasn't good enough for Liverpool at that point. And Juliet said I'll play about 15 games where, Jim Smith was basically saying I'm one of his key men. And I remember going back down to Devon to my mum's, just spent a weekend getting my head around stuff and just decided to go with Derby. So, it was
I mean, it ended up being a really good decision, didn't it? To be fair, because the time you had at Derby and then the moves that you got.
Well, I think it's you look back with hindsight of everything. I think Liverpool went and won about 5 trophies about a year later. So,
yeah,
yes, I'm drinking, Lee. So I could have, done that. But I went to Derby and I played a lot of games. I was only there a couple of years, and I played the only games that I missed. I missed a couple of games through injury, and then I missed the rest were just through suspension. So, I pretty much played every week.
I mean, it's not as if they were struggling either, innit? When the season that you went there, they'd finished 8th the season before that and a place behind Liverpool anyway. So you're going into you look at the squad that they had there. Hell of a squad, didn't they? Like Rory.
Yeah, they did, but that changed a bit when I signed. A lot of the players left that sort of. Lee Carsley went the transfer deadline because I think they wanted me to come in to replace Lee Carsley, so we've gone. And then that summer, Igor Stimac went, who was a massive player for him. Paolo One-Shot went pre-season as well, who was obviously a big player for him. And a few of the foreign boys, the Italian boys like Baiano, Stefano Ragno were that little bit older. So they were. So yeah, the squad wasn't obviously as strong as what it was the year before. So
yeah,
we struggled for season.
You had like Kinkladze and Ravanelli and Craig Burnley.
No, Kinkladze come a bit later on that season, I think, or might be the season after. I think Kinkladze come, and then Ravanelli come towards the end of I'd done 2 full years there, and then I started the season at Derby. So I played a couple of months there, and Ravanelli was there for that time.
What were they like as players? Like in terms of like Kinkladze at the time was just before he went to Man City, wasn't it?
Kinkladze, no, it was after Man City. He got from he wasn't the same player he was at Man City. He was a bit heavier, but he was still super talented and he's very greedy, but had a great left foot. He wasn't interested in working or just basically wanted you to give the ball to him and let him get on with it, kind of thing. But Macca, just looking at Macca great there. Ravanelli was unbelievable. There was a lot of rumours about him. He'd come on, like, obviously huge dough. And there was rumours about, stories about what he was like at Middlesbrough, like disruptive and bad attitude and all that. But he was probably the most professional player I've ever worked with.
Is he?
He'd come in immaculately dressed every day, in before everyone else. He'd be massage, stretching, all the thing, and in training that he was frightening, like the best finisher, along with Robbie Fowler, the best finisher I've seen. Yeah. So he was a real, as a young lad, 22-year-old, seeing someone like him who'd been there and done it, and to still be looking after himself the way he was. I don't know how old he was at the time. Must have been well into his 30s. Was an eye opener. But all the foreign boys like that, to be fair, the Italian lads, like, really knew how to look after himself.
Yeah, I mean, you were pally with Rory Delap and Danny Higginbottom at that point, weren't you?
Yeah. There's a few that we had a lot of foreign lads. When I first signed, the team was pretty much foreign. There's a few English boys like Dean Sturridge, Dal Powell, Dion Burton, Spencer Pryor. That's Russell Holt. That's about it. Rory, but the rest, just loads of foreign lads. So it was strange because I've not really played with any foreign lads before. So the amount of different languages flying around the dressing room was a bit weird to get used to at the start.
Yeah, well, I bet you took on those accents quite well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Branko.
When one of the lads signed Branko Strickland, that was a season after, I think. He could only sort of speak broken English, so we used to teach him all the swear words. I used to teach him like the wrong swear words. So when you get a bit angry, you start shouting like all the fucking wrong swear words, calling people wonkers and all sorts. But he was a great lad. He was brilliant. He mucked in straight away with the lads. He loved it. He loved like the English. He used to live across the road from me and he used to see me when I'd go out and stuff, and he'd always be having a go at me for being, fucking hell, I see you out again last night. And he was a good lad, great lad.
Leandria, we'll get back to you on that Art Morris, where that comes from at the end. When we do the questions at the end. But I mean, those couple of years, and then you've gone to Leeds, where arguably like 2001, it must have been the most exciting squad that they had in the league at that point. Bearing in mind, obviously, your Arsenals and Man Uniteds, but in terms of players. Yeah,
they're top players all the way throughout the team. When I signed, there was like top players, two top players in every position, from the goalkeeper up to the front man. I signed, I think, I don't know when it was, October, November time, I think, and then Robbie signed a few weeks after that.
Robbie Keane or Fowler?
Robbie Fowler. Robbie Keane was, and even though obviously Robbie's a great player, and we didn't really need him. He was like, we had Viduka, Crewe, Alan Smith, Michael Bridges, Robbie Keane as our forwards, and then obviously Fowler as well. So just like we had such a great squad. And yeah, it was a really exciting time for me. I knew a lot of the lads from the under-21s and grew up with, like Woodgate and Paul Robinson, Lee Bowyer, and that. I played with them for quite a few years previous. So the move was, and Alan Smith, and I played under-21 with Rio and stuff. So it was huge. Like obviously they'd been fighting the year before they got to the semi-final of the Champions League, and I think they just missed out on the Champions League. I signed. Yeah, they finished fifth, so they didn't get the Champions League that year.
Yeah.
And then after that, the one season I was there, O'Leary got sacked and the wheels fell off, and they tell everyone.
When you when you went in, you had like the core, Batty, Bowyer, Backer, like that was who you're trying to dislodge, wasn't it? Really, What did you think as a player going in there? Did you think you were better than what they had?
I think I was different to what they had. They got me in there to replace Bats because obviously he was getting on, and they wanted sort of a young, defensive midfielder kind of thing to step into his shoes kind of when he sort of packed in. And I was different because I was left-footed, so none of them were left-footed. So it was just a great move that I was really excited about. And I've been doing well at Derby for quite a while, so it was an exciting move that just went a bit pear-shaped.
Yeah. But I mean, when you get there and because I remember obviously a lot of the stories and, you know, carrying on and like Rio's there and obviously Woody and those types of players. But what was it like there? I always remember you saying like Jason Wilcox was probably the funniest in the change room out of all them. What was the banter like?
Yeah, the banter was pretty high, to be fair. There were some characters there like Wilcox, Gary Kelly, Bats, you know, Michael Dewberry, Woodgate. They're all nutters, you know what I mean? They're all great lads, and you know the whole team really had, you know, it was full of characters and personalities and that, and it was a good club to be at. You know, the staff there were great. I got on really well, especially the physios. I spent a lot of time with them, and they were all spot on. So it was it was a great club to be at. Just a shame what happened, you know, about a year later.
Is it I mean, obviously, like the second season that you were there, and that's when Venables was in charge, was it?
Yeah. So O'Leary, we finished 5th in the league that year. Qualified for Europe, and then O'Leary bought a Brook out, and I think after that, he might have said a few things about the chairman, and then he got sacked. Venables come in. We still had all the players by then, so we still had, you know, everyone was still there. And then basically Venables, his first team talk with us, he sat us down and went, we're going for the Premiership this year. We've got a good chance, you know, we're going to go and try and win it. We've got a good chance anyone. And then literally within days, because Venables, I don't think he hadn't been told about the financial situation at the club.
Yeah.
And within days, you know, he was just when everyone just left. Rio left, and Bowyer, and well, pretty much everyone left by the end.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see, when you moved up there, you moved to Linton, didn't you? Near Wetherby. You had a lovely place up there. But I know that someone's already commented. I can't remember. I can't see who it was, but someone said about your teeth. And that is what your nickname was, wasn't it?
Yeah, 6 teeth.
6.
Yeah, 6 teeth. I used to have a bar in my house as well. I used to call it Bar 6. So I used to get a bit of action if we'd lost the game, whatever. You didn't really want to go out on the town. You'd just stay in and go to Bar 6 and have a few in there.
Yeah, bit of a messy place that was. And then you had obviously then really goes to your injuries, doesn't it? You ended up ripping your thigh against, was it Chelsea?
Chelsea. You did get invited to that place, Leroy. You just don't answer your phone. Pretty much straight away I started getting injured. Played Leicester, I got a dead leg and like a hematoma where I had to get blood drained from my thigh, and that's when it all just started. So then I come back, first game back, I'd been out for a few weeks, I come straight back into the team against Chelsea away, and then ruptured my thigh in that game, same thigh as what I had the dead leg from. Never had any muscle injuries in my career. Come back, it was just, so what are you doing? Just walking around your house?
Nah, Hender's just told me to turn the lights on, so I better turn the lights on.
Is Frenchie there?
Frenchie's somewhere, she's in the back somewhere.
Yeah, so it was just everything, you know, my knees, and then I'd done my cartilage in training just with a clash of legs with someone. My knee had gone, and it was just every time I got myself going, I'd just break down again. Even like when I ruptured my cruciate, I was just changing direction in a game against Blackburn, just gone to go over a player, and my knees just popped. So it was just, I just couldn't get.
I mean, that was like towards about the third season in, was it? You do.
Yeah.
Before you go down. But I mean, like bearing in mind when you played there and the players that you played with and the players that you played against. I mean, during that era, you've got Arsenal, United, Liverpool. You've got Gerrard, Keane, Lampard, Vieira, Petit, Scholes, like the best midfielders, arguably over the last 30 years. Who was the toughest to play against?
Probably Gerrard. Just definitely wasn't Mickey Gray. Yeah, Gerald, just because of just what he was and what he could do, like he's just an absolute beast. You know, he's 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", rapid, strong, good in the air, 2-footed, can shoot from anywhere, score from anywhere, aggressive, good on the ball. You know, he's just like the most complete footballer around at that time. There's no one who was more complete than him, really, who could do what he could do. You know, you could put him on in any position and he'd be a stroll in the park to him. Yeah. There's not many players you could do that with.
You must have played at England with him, did you? In the growing up, the teams.
Yeah. I was watching a thing with Jamie Redknapp the other day talking about him. He's just saying when he struck a ball and the way he passed it just like sounded different. And he's right. He had real hard, like his side passes just punched it in so hard. He just really patterned. The way he pinged the ball and that, he was just frightening. Like he was unbelievable to play against, and he was just so fast as well. He's like rapid.
Yeah.
Also, he used to have a tough time playing against Kieran Dyer as well in midfield. He was hard work because of how quick he was. Yeah. He's sort of a winger really, but he used to play in midfield a lot. When he played in centre mid, you know, when he bombed on and that, it was hard to keep up with him.
But I mean, even at that point, didn't they? The team that Newcastle had in and around that era, they had some great players as well. And
they were good. They were quite similar to it. They had a lot of like good young players, now Bellamy and Dyer, and and then obviously they had people like Shearer and stuff. So you know they had a good. I think they were up around there when we were up there. They were similar. They were up there as well. So yeah, they were always a tough side to play against.
Well, I mean, if you like going to those Leeds days and just recounting some of the story. I know you had was it a Morris Minor or a Fiat or something like that? The lads, a few of the stories that you going about.
Yeah, Fiat 500. I had. Me and my mate were just driving along one day and we saw it for who's this? I'm just trying to read all these comments that are on there.
Oh, yeah.
There was just this car for sale, this bright orange little tiny Fiat 500, and it was for sale. So me and my mate just rang it up. And the geezer come out and we just brought it and drove it off. So I used to drive it into training and stuff and just drive it around. And I took it into training one day and the lads just trashed it. They parked it in the middle of the training pitch, filled it with just absolute crap and just left it there. So that was a bit of a grind getting cleaned out.
And that was then. I think the other clubs then took that on, didn't they? They started having like the worst trainer of the week would get the car and things like that.
Well, I think Leeds had already done that before. They used to have Ron Reliant for it. Worst trainer, Ron Reliant, but they didn't do it when I was there. But it was just an off the cuff. It was just for sale, and the site had a for sale thing. And then I got 50 quid off the asking price off the geezer, so it was a great deal for me. 450 quid it cost me. So it was nice little run around it was.
And obviously, I mean, like I mean, you've heard it millions of times already, but the contract when you sign at Leeds, I mean, I remember where I was when you called me to tell me the contract you signed, but to put everyone straight, and then I've heard obviously a lot of, you know, footballers even say the same thing to you and put it on Twitter and things like that about the contract negotiators. Just to set everyone straight. What actually happened when you signed for Leeds?
Well, but the contract was sorted. I wasn't even there when the contract got sorted, but the deal that got done, my wages got doubled from what I was on at Derby. So I just signed a new deal at Derby. You know, I was Leeds were top of the Premier League at the time. Mm. So when I left Crewe to go to Derby, my wages went up tenfold, like times 10, basically. And then when I left Derby to go to Leeds, they got doubled. The only thing that was funny in my contract, well, not the only thing that was funny, but the funny thing in my contract at Leeds was my wages went up every year. Just the basic salary went up every year. And even when we got relegated, because there wasn't a relegation clause in it, my wages went up I was injured. I'd been injured for months and my wages went up even when we got relegated. So that was a bit strange, but...
I mean, see, when you get relegated to the Championship, and then you actually ended up playing quite a bit, didn't you?
Yeah.
That period.
Well, no, I didn't play quite a bit. I was injured. I was out for 9 months, so I'd done my knee. I think it was April time of the season we got relegated, and I wasn't back till I think it was January was when I was back fit. I got an infection. I ended up having 4 operations on my knee in the end. So I was out for 9 months with the Crewe shirt, and then I come back playing. What's Mickey Weinberg? Who's that, Mickey Gray?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I come back playing, and I didn't know there was a clause in the contract that if I played an X amount of, I think it was 60 games, Leeds had to pay Derby 250 grand.
But you played in that. So when you came back from that injury, did you play about 20 odd games? You had a season. Was it in the Championship where you played a fair bit or not?
Nah, no, I didn't. I don't think so. I played a few games, and then I can't remember actually. I don't know what I played, but in the end, I just got left out of the team. I didn't know why. It was because I was stuck on 59 appearances, and then I found out because I was willing to. I was going to pay the money myself just so I could play. Do you know what I mean? So I've been injured and desperate to play. I was willing to pay the money, and then it was Ken Bates who come in, and then obviously hammered me. I'd not even met him, and he hammered me, personal stuff that wasn't true. Was just basically saying I was not faking injury, but I'm just a waste of time, really. Which I just thought, there's no point. I'm not staying around here. They're not going to play me, so I'm not going to pay out of my own money to play. So we sorted out a deal for me to get out of there at the end of that season.
I mean, so you signed a 5-year deal at Leeds, didn't you? And then, so that 5th year, they ended up paying you out. And what I never really understood about that is, like Ken Bates is saying that he refused to pay that $250,000 to Derby. Yet, so your contract would be worth more than that anyway to sit it out. He said something like you'd let him rot in the reserves, or rather see him rot in the reserves rather than give that money to Derby, which doesn't make too much sense. And obviously, you wanted to play. And so they obviously, by paying you out your last year of your contract, I think they end up saving on like national insurance and things like that, isn't it? Where they avoid that. But when you left, you had an opportunity to go to Middlesbrough as well, didn't you? Before that.
That was the season Venables was in charge when everyone was getting sold. Steve McLaren was at Middlesbrough, and Steve Round was his assistant, who I was at with Derby under Jim Smith, who's young up and coming coach. Who was really good, and I got close with him. I just keep seeing Mickey Gray's comments on that.
Those teeth need insuring.
They ain't like these, mate. So I went and spoke to Middlesbrough I went up there. Middlesbrough were doing really well at the time. They had a good side of, like Alan Boxic and people like that. And he wanted me to play midfield with George Boateng, Southgate, Eggeog, people like that. They had a top side. I went up there, agreed terms, everything was all done. I had my medicals on my way home. I was meant to be signing the next day, and then they rang me up and said that I'd failed the medical. I had a tear on my cartilage, which I didn't even know about. So that fell through. And then I went back and played for Leeds on the Saturday. And my knee was, well, I didn't even know it was bad, but it ended up being bad a few weeks later.
How would you, obviously, how would you sum up your time at Leeds? Because in the Leeds fans, obviously, you kind of used as a scapegoat really for that time, when you were with the contract that people talk about, that not knowing the right story, and the time that you spent there injured. Does it leave like a bad feeling in terms of what happened there, or?
It not in terms of how people feel about me. Just for me personally, I didn't do the business there, and I was injured all the time and I just couldn't stay fit and get a run of games. So I think the most I played in one season out of the 4 years I was there, I played like 20 odd games in the full. That was it. When I played like nearly 100 games for Crewe in 2 seasons, 70 odd games for Derby in 2 seasons, and then I went there and I just couldn't stay fit for whatever reason. I was just injured all the time. So that was the most frustrating thing, because it was such a an exciting move for me at the time, and such a big move. I'd already played for England by then, and all the players that they had there, it was a huge opportunity for me that I didn't take. So that's the only. I'd love to have gone there and done well, which anyone would, but so it is.
And when like obviously coming through, you played for England at under 18s, 21s. You played a lot for the 21s, didn't you? In teams, very talented teams. Like you had some unbelievable teams, and even Leandro came now and again in there, didn't he?
Yeah, Lee was good. No, we had a wicked team. The under 21s, well, under 18s, we had decent size as well. We had like Woodgate and people like that played. But the under 21s, we had a proper team. Carragher, obviously Frank Lampard was the captain. Who was just like
Dyer would have been.
Yeah, Emil Heskey, Matthew Upson. There was loads, but Gareth Barry, Richard Wright, the goalie. We just had a Wes Brown, who was regular Man United first team. So we had a proper side, and it was a decent standard.
And then you was at Derby when you played for England.
What, full England?
Yeah, for England, yeah.
Yeah.
And that obviously Peter Taylor's squad where Beckham was a captain, and like a number. I was looking at the squad earlier, and it wasn't as when they say obviously there was a lot of young players involved. There was still some senior players, wasn't there? What was that?
Yeah. That was great. It was a bit surreal, really. It was just 1 minute I'm just with Derby, next minute you get called up and you're flying off to Italy with the full squad on you. People like David Beckham and Gareth Southgate was playing in that game as well.
Yeah.
David James, Gary Neville. I come on for Gareth Barry in the game. Kevin Phillips, I remember Ray Parlour. So there was good players. I think Scholes and Owen were in the squad originally, and then they pulled out of injury. So yeah, that was like crazy in terms of the players there. Yeah,
and obviously you were with Peter Taylor, weren't you, when you were coming up from the 21s? I don't even know what he's doing these days, Peter Taylor, but he was at one point. He'd done so well with the 21s, didn't he? And then a dog watch that opportunity, and
he got bombed from the 21s. We hadn't lost a game. We won every game in qualifying, and he got sacked. And then Howard Wilson got his job, and then we went to the European Championships, and we got knocked out. So. But that was Lee Hendry's fault because we got caught drinking out on a night out, and
was that with Matt Jansen?
Yeah.
What happened there?
Me, Lee, Matt Jansen. What it was, we were away in Slovakia in the European Championships on the 21s, and we played Italy and lost. And then we played Turkey and we beat them like 6-0. So we need to win the last game against Slovakia to go through. But I got booked in the first two games, so I was suspended for the last game. So I couldn't play. So anyway, me, Henders and Matt Jansen wanted to go out. And but not like none of us had any whatever the local currency was. So we got it off one of the FA ladies. Actually, I should be saying this. Might get it. She still works there, I think. So anyway, she gave the money to Matt Jansen or to Henders, one of the two, and
not Jane.
We just went out and got. I'm not saying we went out and just got absolutely steaming. We just went to some nightclub in Slovakia. There was no one in there, and we just got levered. I was rooming with David Dunn at the time, and I remember him saying that I don't remember getting home. He said I was just falling all over the place when I got in. And then we had training the next day. Me and Henders went to training, and Matt Jansen didn't turn up, so he killed it for everyone. But then Howard Wilson found out, and so that was the end of that kind of thing. We all got banned for 3 months from international football, and that was so basically Matt Jansen just killed us.
Yeah. And then obviously after Leeds, you offered to go back to Derby and play for nothing, didn't you?
Yeah, I just wanted because that season I went back at the start of the season, sort of. I just done the full pre-season with Leeds. It's the first pre-season I've done there and stayed fit the whole pre-season. So I was as fit as I've been for a number of years, and I just wanted to play some football. And Derby obviously weren't sure on, the state I was in physically in terms of soccer. And then once I get in the first team, then just do a pay-as-you-play kind of thing, or whatever you want to do, basically. I just wanted to play. So I signed a year deal, and I was on literally nothing. I can't remember what I was on, but it was nothing really. And then I'd done a year, and then I signed another year. They wanted to offer me 2 years, and I was like, no, I'll just take a year because I don't know what, I don't want to don't know how long I'm going to be fit for. So I just signed another year on a decent contract, a normal contract, and then obviously after that 1 year, my knees had gone anyway. So I was at the last game.
But that was Phil Brown, wasn't it, who signed you?
Phil Brown signed me, yeah. So he was just willing to give me a go, and it was funny. I played against him in a testimonial for Lucas Radaby had a testimonial at Leeds, and he played on the other team for, I can't remember what it was, but he played. And then he got the Derby job, and then that's when he said, "Oh, it's because I saw you in the thing game and thought of you." And that, so right. He was great for me, Phil Brown. He was great. He really looked after me. He knew I had problems with my knees, and used to, look after me in that way. And then he got sacked because he had his hands tied. Really, he wasn't allowed to sign anything. He was only allowed to sign loan players. He had no money. And then he got sacked. New investors come in, and then that's when Billy Davies come in.
Yeah, you had Terry Wesley there for a little while.
Yeah. He was there with the youth team for a long time, and then he took over the first team for a few games.
Yeah, he was a youth team manager at Luton when I was a kid before.
Yeah.
But I think he ended up Bolton and places like that, didn't he? And West Ham Academy manager, I think.
Yeah.
Till recently, but and then like Billy Davies, you had a bit of a not strange relationship, but it was one who really knew where you were, would you?
Yeah, he's like Stevie Howard's dad, Billy Davies. He was odd from the start. He didn't want any of the lads because he'd got given plenty of money at that time in terms of just where we were. He wanted his own team, so all the lads that were there, he tried to get rid of pretty much all of them. So Darren Moore nearly went to Coventry. He tried to get rid of me a number of times. Michael Johnson wanted to get rid of me. Matt Oakley he brought into the club and made him club captain without even speaking to Michael Johnson, who was club captain. Just said it in front of everyone. John hadn't even been told. I thought it was scandalous. But I quite liked him. I was all right with him. Got on well with him, but there was just stuff that I didn't agree with. He accused me of speaking to other clubs, which wasn't true, which 100% wasn't true, and I told him that, and he was like, "Oh well." And then he tried to get me to go back to Crewe. Phil Brown wanted me at Hull, and I was like, "No," and he weren't playing me. So I was just like, "Well, I think I should be playing," and and he was like, "Okay, fair enough," and he was all right. And he was true to his word. To face it, if I'll give you a chance, and it's up to you then. So I ended up playing in the playoffs and all that, and then the final.
Did you play in the semis though? Did one of the games in the semis? Did you play in both?
Yeah, the last game of the season, we were already in the play. We blew it going up because we were in control, and then we lost a few games towards the end, which I didn't play in. And he made me warm up for one of the games when I wasn't even on the bench, and I was like, I just said, "What are you doing? Like, what? Who fucking warms up for a game and they're not even sub?" And he went, "You're definitely playing next week, regardless of what happens. You play next week." And I was like, "Right, still a stupid decision." So anyway, he played me against Leeds. He made me catch him, to be fair. And he said to all the lads, because the lads had been having a shitter, he said, "Whoever plays well today, you're going to be in the team for the playoffs." We knew we were playing Southampton the week after, or whatever it was. So yeah, we beat Leeds. Actually, Mickey was playing for Leeds at the time. He had an absolute mare. Yeah, so we beat Leeds, and then that was it. We were in the playoffs, and then we played Southampton. They had a right team. Gareth Bale was playing for them, but he got injured in the first leg. And then the final against West Brom, and obviously we won that. And that's when, I got injured towards the end of that, and that's pretty much the end of me.
and I mean, just going back as well, the managers you had at Leeds, like after O'Leary and Venables, you had Peter Reid there, didn't you? And Eddie Gray.
How's my name on? Someone saying from Seth Johnson to everyone. Why is that on there?
I don't know. I don't know how that's. I really don't. But you had Peter Reid and Eddie Gray there for a while, didn't you? And they were good guys, good managers.
Peter Reid, yeah, very good. Love Peter Reid. He was class. He was brilliant with me. I had a bit of trouble when I was there, and I was injured a lot, and I got done drink driving and stuff. And he was, he really, the way he dealt with it in terms of with me was, I've got a lot to thank him for, because it, he could have. I'm sure he'd been under a lot of pressure from the board to sack me because of my wages and stuff, and what had happened. So he was great.
You had to. I remember that because you had to. You just bought a Porsche when the Porsche Jeep come out in it, and you bought a Porsche Jeep and had to sell it to Viduka about 2 weeks later.
That's right. Yeah, I don't think I'd driven it, so I just got a new car. Yeah, and then Viduka used to live around the corner, so I sold it to him, and then he used to pick me up for training in it every day and take me to training because I couldn't drive.
Yeah. And then, at the end though, you had Kevin Blackwood. I don't know many people who've got anything good to say about him.
No, I certainly haven't. No, he's a knob. Just didn't have any respect for him at all. He was an absolute idiot. Like, I think Enders has had issues with him as well. I know for a fact Keith Gillespie has. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's just. I just couldn't stand him. It just from day one, even when he was like assistant to. I think he must have been Reedy's assistant. I can't remember. Was he Reedy's assistant? Yeah, Reedy brought him in. Yeah. I hated him. Honestly, I really hated him.
He used to. What did he used to do? I remember you saying something about it, like undermining the other staff or talking down to slaughter.
Yeah, oh God, he was horrible. Honestly, he was horrible to people. Yeah. He was, the lads hated him. The lads really hated him. Apart from Mickey Gray, by the looks of things, he probably liked him. But that says it all. But top bloke. No, he's not. So no, I didn't get on with him, and then we played up at. That was the last time we played Celtic away in pre-season friendly. I think it was the last pre-season friendly before the season started. And we travelled up and pre-season, made plenty of subs and all that. He made me sub, didn't even put me on. So, but he put everyone else on and left me on the bench for the whole game in pre-season. So I was just like, that summed him up, kind of thing. Yeah. So he knew full well I wasn't going to play. So there was just no need for me to travel.
And when obviously the managers, you look at the managers that you played at, and they play some very good managers and good coaches. But the difference, obviously, coming through at Crewe and basically being coached, by Dario, by Steve Holland. When you look back on your career, that obviously formed you as a player, working under them, and obviously both of us have got huge amounts of respect and a lot of time for Dario and Steve and things. But what, just for people listening who are Crewe fans, and what would you say about that time and why are they so good if you compare them to some of the other managers you played under?
It's just a completely different setup to anything else I'd had, because at Crewe, the pressure's completely different. Like when you go to Premier League, the manager's job's on the line, so it's all about results. So everything in training is about the team for getting results. It wasn't about improving individual players. It was about being organised and all the rest of it. But being at Crewe, growing up, Dario was like the strictest manager I've had, just in terms of his standards, how disciplined he wanted everyone in terms of how they trained. He wanted them to, you get some players who do really well in training and they can't do in the match day. He could never get his head around stuff like that. You see a lot of lads, young lads, when you'd have probably had it, who sometimes they'll be playing really well, and then Dario will turn up and they'll just fall apart. They just fall to pieces, and they'll just crumble when he was there, which is weird. But he just had that awe and that presence about him, where people literally used to shit themselves when Dario was around. And even in first team changing room, when he walked in, everyone just shut up. No one would carry on doing what they were doing. Everyone would just be quiet. And he just ran that club from top to bottom. I've been there when he's telling the groundsman how to cut the grass and things like that. You know, when John Huxley would be telling him what to do with it and all that. It's just you just run the club. You know, first team games, he'll drive the team bus to the, you know, the minibus to, if we had local-ish games like playing Stoke, Port Vale, and Wrexham, teams like Chester, he'll be driving the bus and all the lads will be on the bus. And first team games at home, because the AstroTurf was next to the ground, he'll be coaching, say, the under-14s till literally 20 to 8, come in, do a 5-minute team talk with us, and then we go out and play. And he's been coaching on the AstroTurf with young kids. But in terms of his coaching, he was all about just improving individually. You know, he wanted players to improve, and the results. If we won and we played crap, he wasn't interested in that. He was interested in us playing well, and if we played well, then you know you 9 times out of 10 you're going to get the result, and that's what he was. All he was concerned about. But there was no, you know, he was never under any pressure to get the sack or anything, because he run the club. So he was.
Colin Little's just messaging, and Carl obviously.
Carl.
Doing very well for himself at Man United as well.
What a character he was. Great lad.
Stevie Foster's on there as well. Foz is on.
Foz. Yeah.
Stevie Howard as well. I always remember that. I think it's on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. And the Dario interview with, I think it's against Scunthorpe or someone like that. And he absolutely tears Ashley Ward and a few other players to bits.
Yeah, Craig Ignat and that. Yeah, you know, I've been there many, like in the first team where he just drag people off before half time. Like if he'll like people just shank one out of play and go, "Fucking get him off, I'll come." And he was ruthless.
Jermaine Wright, that happened to him, didn't he? When he bought him from Millwall, and I think he bought him on, and then in about 20 minutes later, just bought him off again after.
Yeah, that was Wolves. From the name he started off at Millwall.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It was. He didn't care who you was or if he didn't think. Even like in training, you know, if you have shooting practice, if you shank one over the bar, it just make you go and be ball boy for the rest of the session. You just have to go and fetch your ball for everyone. And so it's just Carl said he'd come on for him against Tranmere.
And like Steve Holland, obviously, as well, that, you know, I suppose you didn't work under Steve as much as you obviously did Dario, did you? Because
No. Well, Steve was obviously, you know, seeing what Steve's gone on to, he's obviously an unreal coach. But he was a young, like, I think he's like early 20s. He wasn't much older than some of the YTS lads, you know, when he first took over. So someone go in and, you know, I think he passed all his badges by the time he was like 22 or something stupid like that, didn't he? He was like fully qualified up, and you could tell straight away, just speaking to Steve, his knowledge in football and how he was around players, and he just knew what he was doing from the start. And he was similar to Dario, you know, they were there to improve the players individually. Yeah. So you get that individual work where I've never had it at other clubs, because it's all about the team getting the results, and you know, that wasn't the important thing at Crewe, because Crewe's a team that have to sell players to survive. So the individual players are important to them.
I think the only time you've said that you ever got coached something similar to was with Venables, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But he was a lot about. We did a lot of, because when Venables come in, everyone you speak to said that Venables was the best manager I've ever had, best coach I've ever had, and a lot of the lads used to complain about him all the time, about these sessions being boring and stuff. But it's because he'd be coaching people. So, you know, a lot of the lads didn't like it. They'd probably never had it, but it was pretty normal for me. I didn't find it a problem. Yeah. But all the other managers and coaches I've ever had, they just put sessions on. They don't. Right back. So they just put sessions on and didn't ever work to improve the individual, as you say.
And how come you've not, like, so you finished your career 28 at Wembley? I remember travelling from Devon with your mum and your mate and stuff to watch that game against West Brom, and obviously last few minutes of the game, and you go down and you're not a player that's, you know, stays down unless you're injured. And obviously didn't look good at that point, and then you finish your career at Wembley, age 28. How's your head at? How's it been since that time?
It's fine. I just
well, I know you're nuts, but like in terms of, you know, from a game perspective, like how
Jack up right alcoholic.
yeah.
I do need to top this up, to be fair. No, it was just, you know, it was I half knew in terms of, you know, the shelf life of football is like 35 or whatever. You know, that's what they used to say back then. I knew I wasn't going to get anywhere near that with how bad my knees were and just how I kept breaking down with them all the time. So I knew I'd be packing out, but just not as early as that. And I could have probably carried on, but I was out of contract at Derby. Phil Brown wanted me to go to Hull at the time with her. And I just didn't want to go to a club. I was injured. I'd had the operation. The surgeon told me to pack it all in. So Phil Brown wanted me to go there and do my rehab there, and then try and, you know, see how I was. But I just didn't want to go. I just didn't want to go to. Who is that? How's my name up there?
I don't know. I really don't know how that.
Yeah, so I didn't want to go to a club injured, basically, and then break down. Pretty much, and I was going for jogs on my own, just trying to do my own sort of rehab, and like driving to like a park to do some running. And I'll get home and I literally couldn't walk. So I'm just like, what am I doing for the sake of maybe another year in the game or whatever? That you know, probably break down again and do it even more serious or not play any games. Then it's just I didn't see the point in it. So, you know, the first couple of years in terms of not playing was difficult. It was weird. You know, I used to feel envious and like jealous of watching football and my mates who were still playing, kind of thing, to go from doing that basically all your life to not doing it anymore, and not, you know, is a strange feeling. You know, it took a bit of a while to get used to, but you know, it's you know, I'm thankful for the career I had, and you know, I feel fortunate to have had the career I've had.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? There's how many people in the world would love to have the career that you had?
Yeah.
And to aspire to what you've done. So, I mean, after it though, for someone who's not so knowledgeable with football, you're not like you know, you used to say about Rory Delap, didn't you? Say about that he couldn't care less about football, but you know, someone who knows the game so well, how come you've never gone into the coaching side or into some sort of role after?
I just never fancied it. I've done coaching before in terms of like when you have to go to schools and things, and I never liked it. I never enjoyed the coaching side of it. I love watching football, and you know, I enjoy watching, you know, football from anywhere really. But and I, you know, someone just put there, do you miss the game? I do miss the game. I miss playing. The thing I miss most is like the feeling of a match day. You know, it's just that buzz in the atmosphere and the crowd, which you can't get anywhere else. That's you know, you can't, you know, no matter what you do in your life, you can't get that. You know, the banter as well. I obviously miss being around the boys and stuff every day, but that match day feeling that you have is you know, you can't recreate that.
Yeah.
But the coaching side, I've never really fancied it.
You miss things like that?
Yeah, I've got a few of them upstairs. I know. Yeah, so I just never really, the coaching side was never something. Scouting, I sort of dabbled in a little bit at the start, which I didn't mind, but it was still, you know, you're just writing down a lot of stuff when you're scouting on a whole team, which I didn't, you know, writing is not one of my strong points, so I didn't really like that. But yeah, I just enjoy watching football on the television or going to the odd live game here and there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we've got a minute left, but I'm not sure whether it continues or would you get cut off after an hour. But I've just got some questions from people. I mean, there's a lot of questions flying about on this message board. But
any normal ones?
No, there's not. Yeah, not too many. Do you regret signing for Leeds?
No, I don't regret signing for them because they were top of the Premier League at the time, and I knew all the lads, and they had some, they had a brilliant side. And Derby had to sell me. Derby needed the money. I got told previous that they wouldn't be selling me, and then next minute they've already agreed a fee, and that was it, pretty much done. So I don't regret signing for them. I regret how I didn't get a chance to fulfil my potential or stay fit and play well for them. But that's just how it goes.
Do you think if you had done something different, you may have prolonged your career? That's Gareth Hamilton in Canada.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what the injuries. I've done the most like prehab work at Leeds that I'd ever done. I never used to do anything when I was at all the young clubs and never got injured. Then when I went to Leeds, they had me doing all sorts in the mornings before training. But I used to do to keep your knees healthy, keep your quads strong, and all that. And I did all that. But when I snapped my cruciate, I was just from change direction in the game. So I think it's many a player who are a lot better than me have snapped cruciate ligaments and had serious injuries. So I just think it's how it is. I'd not really had any injuries until I was about 22. So they all just seemed to come at once, and just couldn't manage to stay fit.
I've also got Ian Houlihan over in Singapore. Your biggest influence in the game and why?
Dario by country mile. He like I said before, he was the one who spotted me in Devon, and he was the one who drove me to meet Derby at the end, kind of thing. So without getting to Crewe and playing under him, I wouldn't have I've not had the education that he's given me. So I've got to thank my whole career to him, really. Pardon?
You still keep in contact with him?
Yeah, a little bit. I've not spoken to him for a bit, but I went to his house for quite a while back now, and I've seen him at the ground. We did a few bits at the ground a while back. I did a bit of speaking. He was there. Steve Holland was there as well, actually. But I don't know when, that was a bit of a while ago. But it was him by a country mile. So
yeah. And what someone's put, Wayne Spencer actually has put the biggest dickhead you've come across in the changing room.
Probably you. Mickey Gray, Mickey Gray's a great shout. People who don't know, Mickey Gray is possibly the worst drinker ever. Just for Lee Andrews. Well, actually, I just knock around with dickheads.
Actually, someone's just brought up there, forgot all about him. Taribo West. You've got a great story about Taribo West, haven't you, when he's at Derby?
Have I? Oh, what, with the team talk?
Yeah, when he'd gone on for the game on a Saturday.
We played away at Fulham in the I don't know if it was a cup game or not, but Jim Smith was the manager, and he brought Taribo in, and Taribo loved him. He used to everyone loved Jim Smith, but Taribo was just hilarious with him. And he said to Jim Smith 5 minutes before the kickoff, "Jim, I want to take the team talk." So he's gone, all right then, yeah. So he got us in a big huddle. So we're all armed around each other, and Jim Smith was next to me, and Taribo West was just going on some religious rant about God and praising the Lord and all the rest of it. And Jim Smith was grabbing onto me and laughing, because everyone's got their eyes closed and that, and he's pulling onto me and laughing his head off. And it's just surreal that he's taking the team to, and the manager's sort of laughing at it, and we lost anyway. So. It was,
but what didn't you? Hadn't he was that a midweek game?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you told me at the time that you'd played on.
He just landed in. Yeah, he used to go home after a game to Milan. He had a church in Milan where it used to be what are they called? One of them.
Pastor something.
Yeah, one of the religious speakers in the church, whatever. And he flew in. I think he flew in that day, and then he just sort of turned up at the ground, and then he was like.
So he hadn't trained or anything. He just turned up.
Yeah, just turned up. Yeah, it must have been probably a Tuesday night game. Yeah, so he'd gone on the Saturday, flew back in on the Tuesday, and then he was just taking it. But he was just the most bizarre man you've ever met in your life.
All right. Well, I mean, it's been a great hour now. Could go on for ages. I mean, there's a lot of people obviously who've who've logged in. Obviously, you played with and played against, and
Yeah.
So it's been great to talk about your career for this hour. Do you think there would be ever chance of going back into football in any shape or form?
No.
No.
No,
Just happy on
definitely
going,
not. Yeah.
having a drink.
Yeah, just taking it easy. I like watching on the telly. I do. I don't understand why my name keeps popping up on there.
No, I don't know. It's the first webinar, so.
Nice one. Thanks to everyone. Thanks for tuning in and listening to that.
Yeah, thank you to everyone. We've got the second webinar will be on Wednesday with David Wright, who's currently the lead Crewe's coach, also ex-Crewe player. Spent his career at Wigan and Palace. Ex-teammate of yours.
Right.
Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch up with you soon.